Does it look like I just woke up? Absolutely. You didn't have to guess. It's obvious. But I woke up with this like epiphany that I didn't document right away. I was nervous it would leave what little cells remain in my brain. But essentially, this epiphany is that I'm okay with being single for the next decade. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, I am okay with not having a companion. I am okay with just trusting me and our Lord and Savior, baby Jesus. That is it. I'm cool with it. That doesn't mean I'm closing the door, right? Like if somebody comes into my life and there's obviously a mutual sense of respect and connection and chemistry and love and honesty and loyalty, I'd be stupid to let that just squander itself away, right? I'm not closing the door. But what I am saying is that the brain chemistry changed. What I am saying is if nobody comes along in the next 10 years, I'm okay with that. Does that make sense? Like, there's this new profound sense of hope that has kind of like instinctually taken over my body where I know for a fact 10 years from now, things are going to be okay. Well, to be honest, I know right now everything's okay. I know for a fact at any given time, everything's going to be okay because my faith and trust in God is so great that even if I were to goof in the most goofiest of goofs, that God would find a way to redeem it. Obviously, I'm going to have to suffer the consequences of my goofs, but God would find a way to turn it around for his glory and use me as a testimony. So I'm not nervous about the trajectory of my life, so to speak. What I am saying is that I'm okay with the sense of loneliness that I've been experiencing and that I've been fearing being a very principal part of my life for the next decade. But that feeling kind of just subsided after a few things, a few weeks of healing, a few weeks of Bible study, some really tough conversations, tough but honest and necessary conversations with loved ones and important key people in my life. But essentially this 10-year mark, I feel like is one more realistic, right, than the 30 days, 90 days, 6 month, 1 year mark that I've always subscribed to. Anytime I'm making myself like a plan or a resolution list or to-do list, I'm always thinking in these time frames. I've never thought to open it up to a decade, which I think is more respectful to God's timing. One, because I feel like it's less demanding. Like, God, make this happen in the next 30 days or I'm going to feel so sad. Like, most of the people in the freaking Bible had to walk the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, and I'm expecting it in 30. Just by sitting and twiddling my thumbs. You know, these people are like traversing terrain. Unrealistic, very demanding, very entitled, you know. And two, what kind of like grace am I giving life itself? Let's pretend you're a watcher and you don't even like believe in God. You're not religious. You're not spiritual. Very atheist, very agnostic, whatever. By limiting things to 30, 60, 90, 365, 180 days, whatever the case may be, what kind of grace am I showing life? Like, I'm not accounting for any life events, good, bad, or ugly. I'm not accounting for meeting the love of my life. I'm not accounting for a pregnancy. I'm not accounting for a wedding. I'm not accounting for an emergency. I'm not accounting for broken bones. I'm not accounting for a car accident, God forbid, you know? Like, I'm not trying to speak this into existence, but this is things that life can throw at you that all of a sudden you can be at day 29 out of your 30-day goal and bam, something comes to disgruntle it, and then what? My faith and my trust in God is now shakeable because it went against my own time frame. Like, it's delusional. It's delusional. Opening it up to 10 years, and if God needs 50, if God needs 100, if God needs 7 more lifetimes, whatever. But mentally, opening up the time frame to 10 years just did something to my brain chemistry. And maybe it's just the type of person I am who needs like clear metrics and clear goals and clear visuals, I guess, to like calm my sense of anxiety. Because without a time frame, I can't help but refer to like the what ifs, or is this quick enough? Is this slow? Is this obtainable? Is this reasonable? Is this against society's norms? Is this against my own core values and beliefs? Is this enough? Is this fast enough? I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. I don't need that in my life, truly. It'd be silly to think that in 10 years my life wouldn't be drastically different. Because I look back at the content that I've created over almost a decade here on YouTube. Granted, y'all will never see that content, okay? These were meant to be virtual diaries for myself. Very privatized, all that good stuff. But I look back at almost a decade's worth of content and I see how incredibly different my life is from one video to the next, let alone 1 year to the next. And seeing my life improve without much effort, and also seeing how my life remains stagnant because of the lack of effort, I can't help but think that 10 years from now, with consistent effort and a valuable amount of time, that I am guaranteed success. I'm guaranteed good results. And that sounds maybe naive, but I also think it's like logical common sense. Because if you think about it, like a marathon runner, right? If they train correctly and efficiently for 10 years straight, by the time they show up to the race, they're going to do pretty dang well, considering the time, the consistency, the effort, the training that went behind it, the preparation that went behind it. It would be silly to think otherwise. They've put in quality work over quality time over and over again. How would they not do well unless life did what life does? But on paper, in theory, things should go well. And that's my goal. That's my goal. So yeah, I'm really happy for a lover girl who has limerent tendencies like me to like confidently look and like put this on the internet, you know, and just say like, no, I'm gonna be single. I'm cool with that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Something that 21-year-old Giselle, if she had heard, would be petrified to hear out loud. That is crazy. What I am going to do next, though, is to make sure that this instinctual feeling isn't coming from a place of ego or fear or whatever else, and that is actually like low-key a message from God. Because I know that God calls us to serve, and I know that in Genesis he gave Adam and Eve, and I understand that companionship is really important. Two heads are better than one, and that whole if you have a companion, if you were to fall, how lucky and blessed are you to have someone be able to pick you up. But oh, the shame of being the one to fall without being able to look up and have someone to help you. But also, doesn't that refer to God? Like, if you with God, you could look around and God will help you. And if you don't believe in nothing, you look around and you really screwed, you know? I don't know. I'm going to read my Bible, see what God thinks about getting it together. Also, wasn't it Paul who was like mad single, and he was like, if you single, it's a blessing. Like, stay single, because imagine all the things you could do as a single person. But Paul's also the same one who said like something to the tune of, but like if you feel so called to be in a relationship, then I'd rather you do that than do some reckless behavior in spite of it, you know. Let me read my Bible. Just randomly flipping around, you know, ask God, what do you want me to read right now about what I just talked about? And this is the first thing I read about. Just gotta do positive thinking and make sure that my thoughts are obedient to Christ. That's hard. That's the first thing I read. Flipped around and ended up on Romans. And then it says, first, I thank God because your faith is being reported all over the world. So then that makes me think like, okay, cool. Keep making YouTube videos. That's like a testimony straight. I long to see you so that I may impart with you some spiritual gifts to make you strong. That is, that you and I may be mutually encouraged by each other's faith. Again, God is going to make this little singleness thing a lot easier because he's going to help me out spiritually. And that's going to keep my faith strong, and it's going to keep my spirit strong to keep going. But the point is to be encouraged by faith. Find other people that encourage my faith. Hopefully posting on YouTube, I find that community, but here we are. And the righteous will live by faith. So that is just a nice courtesy reminder that as long as I continue to seek God in this season of singleness, everything's going to work out. Randomly flipped on over to Luke chapter 14. Chilling over here now with the parable of the great banquet. So apparently some host had put everything together. It was super fancy, and they were like, tell my friends, come, everything is ready. And they started making excuses, and then finally nobody showed up. So then the host was, it was like, go out quickly into the streets and allow everyone, the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame to come. And they did. And then the host was like, and let me tell you what, everyone who's originally invited, they don't get to taste this, losers. And as I was studying a little further, it was letting me know that it was an act of generosity to invite the poor, the lame, the crippled, the blind, all that good stuff. But not only that, when the host had originally invited their friends, it wasn't with the same intent that they had invited the poor. It was simply because inviting the desirable friends gave them selfish ambition. So if I'm on this conquest, this is what I took out of this, right? If I'm on this conquest to find my husband, right? I'm doing all of this, I'm setting up a banquet just to find my husband. My husband, again, because that is like my own selfish ambition, my husband is going to find every excuse under the book to not come to my banquet. However, if I open up my banquet to those who deserve like a generous spirit, right? An act of generosity, then my table will not only be full, but everyone who like deserves to be there will be there. Not the bum that I've been working for, who wouldn't have been my husband, I guess. But moving on to poverty, right? So all of these people got to benefit from the efforts of the host. And all the people that the host was hoping to like take care of were already taken care of. So what was the point of taking care of these people? They were already taken care of. Oh, I don't need to take care of. Oh. I'm already a great wife. Oh. I'm already a great wife. Wait with me. Hear me out. I'm already a good wife. I have proven time and time again in all of my relationships, I am indeed a good wife. I have prepared a great banquet and invited many a guest. I have already proven to myself and others that I am a great wife. I can cook, I can clean, I can run a household, I can take care of finances, I can turn a house into a home, I can nurture the children, I can sit down with them, I can do their homework, I can take them to school. I would make a great wife and mom. I would. And I keep inviting the wrong dodo birds to the wrong party. What I need to be doing is opening up my table, not for a relationship and not to prove that I'm a great wife and mother, but to prove that I'm a good daughter of God. And eventually, I'm going to show up to someone else's table and they will be looking for a wife. Oh, I'm not supposed to be looking for my husband. My husband's supposed to be looking for his wife. And while I am ready to be a wife, I'm not ready to be a follower of Christ. in a sense. Like I am on paper, but I'm talking the talk, I'm not walking the walk. I need to open up my spiritual table and invite people to my spiritual table, invite spirits, and provide for them where I can. Whether that's compassion, or financial, or resources, or something. So yeah, for the next 10 years, I'm going to be single. Thank you.